The Letter Room, a short film directed by Elvira Lind, starring Oscar Isaac and Eileen Galindo, has been recently nominated for the Academy Award of Best Live Action Short Film of 2021. Today, we will be chatting with Galindo about the film, the nomination, and her life as an actress.
So, Richard, I think we finally found a position for you in human relations like you requested.
Oh, that's such great news.
All correspondence to and from inmates is filtered through you in this room. You'll be scanning each item for inappropriate content to be confiscated. Hi, my name is Eileen Galindo, and I am really proud to be starring opposite Oscar Isaac in the Academy Award nominated live action short, The Letter Room, directed by Elvira Lind.
How did you feel when knowing you got one of the highest recognitions on your work, the Oscar nomination?
There's no words to describe it. I actually slept through the nomination, so I woke up. I'm currently working on another show for Paramount Plus called Why Women Kill, and I wasn't working that morning, so I woke up about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and my phone had blown up, and I thought, "Oh my God, I'm late for work. I was supposed to be at work," and it turned out that it was a nomination, so it was pretty amazing.
What did you first think when you got the notification when they told you?
Well, when we were making the short, it's interesting. Sometimes when you are making a piece of art, you may not necessarily know what the larger message is, especially in film and television. I also come from theater, and in theater, a lot of times you know more so what the message is you're trying to convey or what the piece is going to say, the themes. With the letter room, I knew what my function was in the movie, and I played that character of Irene, the prison warden, but I didn't have an idea of the impact that it was going to have. Also, we did it right before the pandemic. So the themes of isolation and loneliness that the characters, especially Oscar's character, experiences, we didn't realize how universal the theme was going to be.
How did you prepare to get into the shoes of a prison warden? What did you turn to for inspiration?
Um, I generally on my Instagram, whenever I'm creating a new character, I start really with visuals actually. So I go with the script and then I start to gather visuals. In this case, I looked up some female prison wardens and I just started to look at them and I read a couple of articles about their life and their point of view towards the prison system, and obviously my character is the antagonist in the short, even though it's a 30-minute short. My character is the function is there to thwart Oscar from doing what he wants to do, which is to help connect the characters. He has all these wonderful ideas about how to rehabilitate the prisoners and bring more communication in the prison. And my character's like, oh, no, 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 this is what we're doing, just like this. So yeah, so I read a lot of different articles, I gather a lot of images, I'll start posting a lot of things on Instagram, and yeah, just start sort of collecting little ideas. And then when we got on set and we started to work on the scenes, um, what's great about working with Elvira and with Oscar is that we start very slow. We have the script, and we just the first scene where I'm drinking a cup of coffee opposite him, and we're having this conversation. We just started drinking the coffee and looking at each other, and I was sort of sizing him up. And he was very uncomfortable. He didn't know what to expect. He was coming there because he had been told that he was going to be getting a promotion, but he didn't know what that was going to be. So we just go with those circumstances and then we see what comes out of that.
What does a script have to have, no matter what, for you to choose it?
Well, it's interesting. For me, I think the main thing that I look for in characters is if I can relate to them, if I feel like I can portray an aspect of humanity that I recognize, then it becomes personal to me. And by being personal to me, it then is universal to the viewer. So I try to be as specific and personal as I can be. And then I always say that if I reach one person, if one person watches the project, watches the film or the TV show, or comes to the theater and sees the show and they say, I know that person, then I've done my job.
So, what caught your interest from this particular role in the letter room?
Well, actually, I didn't know what it was. Oscar and I had done a play together about 20 years ago where I played his mother. And so throughout the years, we had stayed very close. This was before Star Wars, before any of the success in the movies and all that. So he called me and said, listen, I have a role that I would love for you to play. We're doing this little short film. And, I was supposed to be in New York for another job, and that one fell through. So I said, well, I just so happens I'm going to be in New York. So yeah, sure. I said yes without even knowing what it was, because I trust his artistic taste. And I think that's the most important thing when you're doing a project is, if you trust the people that you're working with, then that opens up the possibility for great things to happen.
What is your favorite genre to play and why?
My favorite, say that, genre?
Yeah.
Well, probably comedy. I like I probably lean towards comedy a little bit more, but what I really loved about doing the letter room, I joked around with Oscar and I said, I feel like I got to learn how to do a Coen Brothers movie in in a short period of time, because the comedy in the film is very sort of on its ear. Like it's a very serious subject, but there are very funny things about it. And I like that because that's what life is. Life can be very, very funny, but then it can be very serious at the same time. So it really rides this incredible line.
What has been your most challenging role to date and why?
Ooh, that's tough. That would probably be in theater more so. Although the project that I'm working on right now, Why Women Kill, it's going to air on Paramount Plus this summer. I was really challenged by that because it was over a longer period of time. It's an anthology series. And I had, without giving away anything, I had a lot of, yeah, I'm trying not to give anything away. um, there was a lot to challenge me in that part, not just tonally, but trying to marry Mark Cherry's tone that he's so well known for with the circumstances of the piece. So yeah, there was a lot of, it was sort of like I joke around, I say it's like tapping your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time, right? That's always so tough to do. So that's how I felt with that project.
Is there anything you can give away, like a synopsis of what was your experience in the show?
Well, okay, one thing I can say, this new season of Why Women Kill, it explores what it means to be beautiful, the hidden truth behind the facades that people put up, and and finally it really explores the lengths that the particular women in this show, what they will go, the lengths that they will go to be accepted. And again, that is such a universal theme because we all want to be part of something, we all want people to like us, we want to be accepted. um it's just that the women in this show go a little too far to get what they want. thus the title, Why Women Kill.
And back to the letter room, what would you say is the most relevant message you want someone to take away from the film?
I think the thing that's most relevant to what have all been going through in the last year is the themes of isolation and how people not only long to connect, but it is human nature, the need to emotionally connect with each other. And, in the past where we would do interviews in person, now we're all relegated to working on Zoom and it creates, an artificial sense of closeness, but it's not the same as being with that person and, being able to look in their eyes and read the little details of them as a person. Um, Oscar's character is relegated to working in the letter room and he gets emotionally connected to the letters that he's reading that are being written to the prisoners. And without giving away the end of the movie, it really, it shows about these type of people that, that would rather live in the fantasy than in the reality. The inspiration for the film came because a couple of different things. Elvira had listened to a podcast about a man that had been catfished and how when he found out that the person was not who he thought it was, how he longed for, to go back in time because he had such an emotional connection to this person that he was being catfished by. And at the same time, she also talked about a lot about in Denmark, her native country, how there are these men that are, in their 40s and they've never married and they live alone and they, cook for themselves. There's a great scene in the movie where Oscar's, cooking a meal for himself and he's standing in front of the refrigerator and he's eating out of the refrigerator. And, we've all had that moment, especially if you're someone that lives alone. So it just really highlighted the isolation and the loneliness that we've all had to experience this past year because we've all been stuck in our homes all over the world.
And most importantly, what does the film mean to you in particular? How will you remember it, say, 10 years from now?
Oh, I have such wonderful memories, even though it was just, a year and a half ago that we laid less than a year and a half ago that we laid the film down. It's a wonderful memory because it was a story. So at the beginning of my career, when I was doing theater in New York, there was a program where you would go into the prisons and you would do theater for the prisoners. And I remember going to a facility in New York City called Rikers Island. And the facility that we shot at was the Arthur Kills Correctional Facility, which was in Staten Island. But I remember feeling uh, a lot of stress and a lot of tension when we went into Rikers to do this. The doors closed behind you, the high barbed wires. It was very stressful for me as an actor. And I was able to reframe that experience for myself working at Arthur Kills. It was a decommissioned facility, so we were the only people there. And it gave me the freedom to be able to tell the story and be the character without feeling the stress of the actual prisoners being there. Because the prison system does need serious reform. And I can't imagine what that would have been like if we would have been trying to tell that story in a live, commissioned, active prison. I think it would have been much more difficult to do. There's a quietness to the film, and the quietness that permeates it mirrors the loneliness that the characters feel. And that is something that we were able to achieve because we were working by ourselves in this little capsule.
And what would you say to anyone who's thinking about watching the film?
Oh, I really hope you enjoy it. You know, for people that have family members that have been incarcerated before, I think that it's very poignant to see, you know, how little privacy prisoners do have. In this case, it is a maximum security facility, but even in minimum security facilities, you know, your privacy is at a minimum, and you know, that's an issue that the film touches on. So I think there, you know, there's a lot there for people, whether or not you have a relate, or you can relate to the specific circumstances or just the universal idea of trying to connect with another human being and wanting to experience love and wanting to experience connection.
Thank you very much, Eileen.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
It was a pleasure to meet you, and I hope everything goes well in the Oscars.
I hope so too. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Gracias.
De nada.
Okay.